Welcome to the library tutorial for using Zotero with Firefox. Zotero is a bibliographic management software that allows you to do footnotes and bibliographies, parenthetical references, reference lists in a number of different styles that are used at Trinity. So to begin, we're going to make sure that we have the Microsoft Office Word program installed. Or if you don't have Word, the only other word processing program that will be used with the Zotero is the OpenOffice suite, which you can download for free. So make sure that Word, if you have it, is closed already. And then we're going to go to Zotero.org, so Zotero.org. And we're going to click on the big red Download Now button. And then we're going to come down and we're going to be using Zotero for Firefox. So we're going to click on the link here for Zotero for Firefox. And then we're going to allow. And then we're going to click on Install Now. It's going to ask if you want to restart, but we're not going to restart now. We're going to close that because we also want to do the word processor plugin. So we're going to click on the plugin for Firefox here. And if you're using Windows, then you'll click on this one. If you're using a Mac with Zotero for Firefox, you're going to want to install first the Python extension, and then you'll install the Word for Mac plugin. So first the Python extension, then the Word for Mac. But we're using a PC, so we're just going to click on the Word for Windows plugin and allow. And then install now again. And now we are going to restart our Firefox. And we're going to go back to our library homepage here. Now after you've installed Zotero, you'll see a word Zotero down here in the very bottom right corner. If you click on that, it will launch your Zotero plugin. So at this point, we basically have nothing in our library. So we're going to be doing a paper on the topic of theodicy. So we're going to come to My Library here, and then we're going to right-click, and we're going to create a new collection, which we're going to call Theodicy. So you can have as many collections going as you want and sub-collections within collections just by clicking and adding a new sub-collection. So we have a Theodicy collection now for our Theodicy paper. So we're just going to click on the little X down here and minimize that again. And the first thing we're going to put in our collection are books. So we're going to click on the Books tab. Now, Trinity offers two different versions of the TrinCat catalog for finding books in Rolfing Library. The one that works best with Zotero is this classic TrinCat. So I really encourage you to click on and use the classic TrinCat when you're finding books here at Rolfing. The other version, TrinCat, will work, but it introduces errors which you'll have to clean up. So we're going to do our search on Theodicy as subject, and we're going to search on that. And then we're going to click on the Theodicy Biblical Teaching. And up here in the list you see a file folder. That's Zotero saying I found a list. If you click on that, it pulls up all the items on the page, which if you wanted to select more than one, you could pick different boxes or all the boxes and say OK. But we're actually going to go in and just pick a specific one from the list. And we're going to pick just first this one by Crenshaw, Defending God. Now up here in the address line, now we see this blue rectangle, which is Zotero's way of saying I found a book. If we click on that, down here in the bottom right we see Saving Item. And then if we click on and bring up our Zotero, we see that this book has been brought in. Over here it tells us all about the book, that it is a book. Here's the title of it, the author of it, and the place and publisher. For the place, since we're in the U.S., we could just delete out the Oxford and just retain New York. You could leave Oxford in, but you can also take it out. So this one is essentially good to go. So that's our basic bringing in a book from TrinCat. Now we're going to also go back to our list of titles here, because I want to show you one which is a fairly steady quirk of Zotero. So here's one that's an edited book here, Suffering in the Goodness of God. We're going to click on that one. And this is a collection of multi-authored articles here, published in a book. So up here we see our familiar Zotero books. We're going to click on that. Down here we see that it's saving this item. And if we click on the Zotero, we see that it's brought in this book, and this is the title. Now notice that Morgan and Peterson have been brought in as contributors. They're actually editors, so we're going to click on the word contributor and change them to editors. This would be the same if you had like a translator and an editor. Both will typically be brought in as contributors, and then you'll need to select either editor, translator, series editor, whatever the case may be. But these are just editors, so we're going to do that. Now, it's in the series here, Theology and Community, and it's published out of Wheaton, Illinois. Now, at Trinity, we're going to want to change that ILL to just capital I, capital L. And the publisher is fine. And down here you'll notice, which I failed to point out in the first one, that the call number for our library is here. And you can always just look that up in our shelves and find that book. So in terms of bringing in books from Trinity, then that's basically what you're going to encounter. Now, Zotero doesn't work just with TrinCat, but it also works with the iShare catalog, WorldCat, our Open WorldCat, and our First Search WorldCat. You'll find this same symbol at Google Books. You'll find this same symbol at Amazon. So Zotero works with a number of different places where you'll encounter a book. But you'll see the same familiar book up here, and you'll click on that and bring it into your Zotero collection. So that's in terms of finding books, fairly straightforward. Now we're going to go back to the library's homepage, and we're going to go into the ATLA database. And again, we're going to do our basic search for theodicy. And we're just going to search on that. Now again, we see this familiar file folder up here. Zotero's saying I found a list of things that you could select from. We're going to go in and look at one specific, this first article here, published in our own Trinity Journal. Now up here where we saw the blue book before, now we see a very faint page that looks like a sheet of paper with little lines on it. That's Zotero saying I found an article. So if you click on that, then down here we see Saving Item again. We bring up our Zotero collection, and here now is our journal article. So Zotero knows it's an article, gives it a different little symbol over here from the books, and then here's the title. Now notice that the title is not capitalized quite properly in headline style. Cross and theology, for instance, are not capitalized. But we can right-click on the title and transform that to title case, and then the words that should be capitalized are capitalized. The author is here, journal, volume, issue, pages. The date we could leave as is, or we can just click in here and delete out the spring and just leave the year, which is all you need for a journal article. So that's a journal article, and in all the EBSCOhost databases, Academic Search Premier, ATLA, ERIC, PsycInfo, they're all going to work the same way, and you'll always see this little symbol of an article up here. Now in ATLA as well, we're going to go back to our result list, and this time we're going to look at essays. These of course are chapters of books, so we're going to update our list here. And now we're going to look in this first one here, Religious Diversity, which is a chapter of this book, Oxford Handbook, by this Michael Peterson. If I click on that and go into the record, I see this familiar little page up here. So I click on that again, and I see Saving Item, but I do see a different symbol here, an open book. And if I go into my Zotero collection, here Zotero is saying this is a book section. So you see the little open book symbol. So Zotero recognizes this is different than a regular journal article or a book. It's a section of a book chapter. So the title again, we want to right click on and transform to title case. And we're going to do the same thing with the book title. So we're going to transform that also to title case. And then down here, the place is fine. The publisher, I might click in here actually and spell these out. And the date is fine and the pages are fine. So this one is essentially good to go. Now, we do know from our style guide that it's also good to include the editor. So this one in the basic record does not have the editor, but if I click on the source, the book that that article is in, that essay is in, then I can come down and find out that it actually does have an editor, this Chad Meister. So if I want, I can come over here to my Zotero record for this one, click on the plus sign here, and add the editor, which is Meister. And then I'm going to click in the first name here and add the Chad. So now we have the author of the thing and the editor of the book title. So this one is fine. You can add the editor in or not, but it's a good idea for particularly those writing theses and dissertations to go ahead and add the editor as well. So this one's all cleaned up and good to go. And this will also be the case for wherever you find book chapters, either in Atla or Academic Search Premier, SocInfo again. They'll work all the same. So now we're going to go back and we're going to find out how to bring in one more type of record. And those are going to be dissertations and theses. So we're back to the library's homepage, back to databases, and we're going to go down to the D's and pick dissertations and theses. This is the ProQuest database. So we're going to come down and go into the ProQuest Dissertations and Theses A&I, the comprehensive collection, and we're going to do our search for the Odyssey again, and search on that. And again, it pulls up a list of them. And again, Zotero puts the folder up here. So if I want to, I could click on the folder there. And let's say I wanted this one, and I could pick multiple ones. But just to show you how it works, I'm just going to check the one and say, OK. And it brings in this dissertation. Now, Zotero calls this a thesis, so it doesn't distinguish between master's theses, PhD theses, dissertations. So they're all just theses. So the title is here, brought in fine, author is fine. There's an abstract which you could delete or leave in if you want. The type is PhD, so at Trinity we're going to want to do PhD for type and add DISS period. If it was an MA thesis, it would come across as MA, and you'd add space thesis, THESIS. The university is fine, Harvard. The place we're going to go ahead and just delete out because there's only one Harvard University. And the date is fine, and that one's good to go. Now, let's go back now and look at these different tabs that are here. So, for instance, in this dissertation here, this is the basic info tab, which tells you about it. There's also a notes tab. So if you wanted to, you could click on that and add a note here. And then it brings up this little mini word processor, which you can type all you want in here. You could type up quotes from the dissertation. You could type up your own reading notes, however you want to do it. You can also add different types of formatting. There's no way that I know of to export directly these notes into your Word document, but you can copy and paste from the Zotero notes to your dissertation or thesis or class paper. And all the formatting that you put in this little notes thing here will also be carried over into your Word. So we're going to go back to here, and there's also tags. There's no tags in this one. But let's go down and look at, say, this journal article down here. So this one does have tags because these are the different subject headings that it found in the database. So it adds these tags automatically, the subject headings that it found. So if we look at this book, we also see different subject headings here that Zotero calls tags. If you wanted to, you can click on Add and add your own tag, which would be the word or phrase that you want to use to describe articles like this one. The reason you might want to add tags is later you can click on the little spyglass symbol here. You can search your collection by title, author, whatever you want to do, but you can also search it by tags. So if you search by tags, then you could put in your tag that you use, and we're just using the Odyssey. So we search in that, and then not surprisingly, we find most of what we put in there because we searched on the Odyssey. So you can use tags to kind of tie things together that you want to be able to easily search on. And then related would be, if I wanted to relate this one with a different title to see these two sources are related, maybe one author uses or relies heavily on the other, then I could pick one and say this one is related to that one. So we can tie different records together. So those are the different options that you have here. Now you can also add specifically a Zotero record for things that you can't just click and download from a database. This would be true for like dictionary, encyclopedia articles that you use. Those at Trinity are treated as book sections. So you'd put in the title of the encyclopedia article, author, the title of the encyclopedia, if it was if it was a particular volume or number of volumes, second or third edition, the place, the publisher, the date, and also add in the pages. So everything that you would find, say, in a book section that it brings in, you'll also want to add if you create your own Zotero record. So that is basically what we're going to do here. Now, I want to show you one other thing here, and that is that when there is the full text available in the database, such as this one, it will automatically bring that in. So if I click on that, then it takes me directly to the full text that it brought in for that article. If I wanted to, say I scanned this article here from this Oxford Handbook as PDF, then I could take this record here and I could click on the little paper clip here and attach a stored copy, so that if I had the PDF copy of this chapter that I've made, I could then link it to the record here in Zotero. So it's a way of keeping track of all the articles that you have. You don't have to worry about where did I save this on my computer. Everything is just linked to the corresponding Zotero record. You could do the same thing for specific pages that you had scanned from a book that you were using, whatever you wanted to use. So if the full text is there, it automatically brings it in. If it's not, you can always just scan it, attach it yourself. So now we're going to assume that our articles, books, dissertations, essays are all in our Zotero collection, and we're going to get rid of this one because there's really nothing in it. So now we're going to assume that we're ready to write our paper. So we're going to close this out now. And we're going to, well, actually I don't want to close it, but we're going to make sure that Firefox is still open. And then we're going to bring up our Microsoft Word. And in Microsoft Word, if you added the Microsoft Zotero plugin there. Up here for Word 2007, 2010, or for Mac 2008, 2011, you'll see a tab somewhere up here that will have the Zotero toolbar in it. So yours may be symbolic like this one, or it may be text, add citation, whatever. So we're going to put in our first citation here. So we're going to click on this one on the far left, the red Z, and it asks us what style we want to use. So a number of styles come preloaded with Zotero. So if you're counseling, you could choose APA. Around Trinity, most of us use Chicago Full Note, which is the same as Turabian. If you're in like the PhD, ICS, or EDS, then you'll want to use Chicago Author Date. It is possible, though it doesn't come preloaded, to go to the Zotero site and download the Society, the SBL style. I have it, but I had to put that in directly. So we're going to come back and we're just going to leave it at Chicago Manual Style Full Note. And we're going to say, OK. And then Zotero wants to know, what do you want to cite? So it pulls up this red rectangle, and you can start typing in the title of the book or the author, however you want to do it. And then it says these are the ones that have what you're looking for in it. So I picked this one because this is the one I want. And it puts that in, and then I can click on that one again and put in, say, the page that I'm citing in this particular article. Hit the enter key once, hit the enter key again, and now it's inserted this footnote down here. So I could go on writing my paper. When I'm ready to insert my next citation, click on the red Z. Again, put in the word that I'm looking for. Now I'm doing this one by Peterson here, so I click on that one, put in my page, enter, enter, and down here it's put in the article there. You can always just double space between these. You could also indent these as Trinity requires. So go on writing my paper and do my next one here. So the next one I'm looking for is this Crenshaw book here, so I'll put that one in there. And I could click here and put in a page number if I want. But I can also come here and do my next one. So if you want to cite multiple citations within the same footnote, as many master's and PhD students often do, you could keep adding as many records as you want into the same footnote, and again you'd have the option each time of adding a particular page number. So we could say Crenshaw here is on page 87, and then we could come here, enter key, it inserts all those. So down here we've got the Crenshaw one, page 87, and then the little semicolon here, and we could click in here and we could say see also this one and this one. So you can add multiple sources here in the same footnote, and again we could double space there. So once we would have added all of our footnotes here, then we're ready to create a bibliography. And we put our cursor where we want it. So we could either insert a page break and start a bibliography. We'll just do it right here. And this is the symbol here, this third one, the red outline look that says Insert Bibliography. If I click on that, then everything that I cited in my paper, it does the bibliography entry for. So this one is quite good here. We notice that edited by here is spelled out in the bibliography. And down in the footnote, we see that it's actually in, let's see, where is that one? Here, so ED period, so it abbreviates edited by as it should in the footnote, spells it out for you properly in the bibliography. And again, you could double space between these entries. So that's basically how you would go about inserting a bibliography for things that you had cited. Now, if I wanted to, I could go into my Zotero collection here and say I want to cite things, everything in my collection except this one, which is still bothering me. Now it's gone. I could come to my Theodicy collection here, right-click on that, and create my bibliography from collection. I would want to do this if I have things in my collection I want in my bibliography but didn't cite as a footnote. So I can choose my style again. I'm going to copy the clipboard, so make sure that little button's checked and say OK. And then I can go back to my Word document and paste in. And it pastes in all these different things here. This one is just trash, so that one I'd have to get rid of. But so the things that you wanted to cite in your bibliography but didn't necessarily include a footnote for. And another quirk of Zotero is that when you bring in things like this, the margins are a little skewed to the left here. So what I would just suggest is that you just highlight those and bring in the margins as they should be. So we're going to bring our hanging indents over, and again we could double space our records, our entries in our bibliography. So two ways to do it, either from the footnotes or from the collection itself. So that's essentially how Zotero works, the very basics of it. And it's a very nifty little program here. And if I had wanted to, I could actually change the preferences for this one. So if I wanted to see how this one would look in APA, I could pick that and do this one. And we see that at least this one has been changed to APA and the bibliography has been changed to APA. So you can adjust your preferences for your citation style even after you've written your paper. So that concludes our tutorial for Zotero for Firefox, and we hope that you have enjoyed it and learned from it. And we welcome any questions or comments that you might have at the reference desk. And you're welcome to contact us if you need any help with Zotero. And we thank you for watching this tutorial. And that's that.